What's up, guys? Sorry for the late start here. Just had to get some settings figured out. I'm testing out a new camera today, which adjusted my normal setup. Just waiting for you guys to get in the chat. There we go. It was a little big on the screen. Sugar Daddy, first one in the chat. What's up, man? Looks like I'll be flying solo tonight for Mavs Fastbreak. One thing I'm having to get used to, my camera used to be there, and now it's here. Gotta remember to keep my eyes locked. So, oh man, Rangers King. We have not figured out a good schedule rotation for this yet. We keep winding up on different days. Man, my mic's not even in frame. What a bummer. Abraham Young, what's up? Take just a moment here, let a couple more people filter in, and then we'll kick this thing off. Oh man. Go check out the people in the chat. Yeah, if you guys are interested, Rangers King just wrote up a great piece on a deep dive on Ding Yang Huang. Took a total stab at that name. I don't know if I got it right, but he took a breakdown of him and did a whole scouting profile. It's really good. If you want to check that out, that's on the DallasProspect.com. I don't know why I said it so weird. .com. That sounded too sexual. Anyway, so yes, check that out. That's by Ranger King there. Man, I have been on the go all damn day. I was working this morning on a collaboration with some guys. Yeah, Sugar Daddy. We're going to go into the starting lineup. I was working with the guys from the Sports Fury. I don't know how many of you know of them or maybe are subscribed to them, but they're real cool group of guys, a couple guys who they pretty much stream and commentate on anything. I mean, I've seen them streaming on anything from literally any NFL game to college football to World Cup soccer to WWE events. I mean, they do it all. I'm impressed with what they do. But they wanted to bring me in for a collaboration, and so I spent the first part of the day filming some stuff with them. And it's different than any content I've done thus far, which I'm actually pretty excited about. It's different. So that'll I mean, I have to edit it, of course, but that'll create some good content for you guys, I think, down the road. That should be pretty cool to check out. So, Andre, what's up? You saw how good Harrison Barnes looked in the World game. Yeah, man, Harrison Barnes had a really, really good game in that World versus Africa game. I'm encouraged what I see. He had a double-double, something like 14 points, 11 rebounds. That's a really good initial showing from him. I'm hoping he can take a step forward this year. And part of that is he's right about the age of his prime at this point. I think he's, let me look it up. I think he's like 27 at this point, so he should be reaching his physical prime. And if that's the case, that paired with the fact that Dennis Smith and Luka Doncic should be able to, one, take some of that stress. He's 26. Take some of that stress away from him, and at the same time, help him get better looks. I think it'll really help improve what he's facing. I mean, last year he averaged, 19 points? But he did so having to be the number one option. Yes, he had Dennis Smith, but Dennis Smith wasn't, he was a rookie, right? I think Dennis Smith moving forward will be able to give him much more alleviation. So I am encouraged that we could see a better version of Harrison Barnes in the next year or two for sure. Shout out William Payne. Shout out D. Marcos Levy as well. Let's see. Sugar Daddy, for your question, we are going to go into the starting lineup. Let me just hit a couple of these questions first, and then we'll start talking some general starting lineup. I keep accidentally extending out of my range. Again, new camera, and I'm trying to work within my confines as I apparently find where my left arm cuts off. Eventually, I will have a full green screen behind me, and I can flap my wings majestically, and everything will be in frame. This whole illusion of the studio will stay intact. But not yet. So, TDP, what if Luka is better than LeBron? Better than LeBron, I don't know about that. But I could see Luka Doncic being, at least from a playmaking perspective, I could see him being an instant difference maker for sure. Gle, yo! What's up, guys? Oh, I'm so bad about actually starting the Facebook stream on time. Whoops. It's kind of a hint that, of course, like the Dallas Prospect page on Facebook if you haven't already. Ha, cheap plug. But if you want top priority, YouTube's where it's at. That's where everything is for the Prospect. Facebook, we cross-post, but our focus is here. So, as I get all that ramped up, do you think we can get Jimmy Butler, asks D. Jimmy Butler. It's a possibility, because since he declined to sign his max contract offer from the Timberwolves, it's pretty much expected that they're going to move him before the deadline, because why would you, I mean, unless they're ballsy and think they can, like, recover or, what's the word I'm looking for? Whatever, repair. That's a much lower version of the word I was looking for, not as strong. But if they think they can repair the relationship before the deadline, maybe they try and go there. But I think for Butler, they're probably going to deal him before the deadline just to try and give themselves the best chance to compete and get something for it. So Dallas is an option. They can take on the salary if it's like a sign and trade. And we'll just have to go from there. I think it's a possibility. I think that Butler would work well here. But I'm curious what the price to get him would be. I don't feel like Dallas has a lot of trade assets it wants to deal in. And that's going to make things a little more complicated. I'm interested, but I gotta see what options we really have, right? Marcos Levy, what's up? Dennis Smith Jr. was supposed to play but had flying troubles. Huh. So Dennis Smith was supposed to be in this Africa game, huh? Interesting. I wonder what that issue was. Marcos Levy, thoughts on Luka's NBA 2K rating? Man, so he got a 79. And my usual co-host, Annie, is the better 2K expert than I am. My take on it is that feels like a pretty kind, I would say, review, because you never know what a guy's going to be, right? He's never played in the NBA. Now, Luka's played at a higher level than D1, but you never know what a guy's going to be. LeBron and I think even Carmelo in the same year, 2003. Granted, this is NBA Live. I guess I'm rating, not NBA 2K. But when they came into the league, they were both 69s overall. And that's not anything great. Now, granted, in LeBron's case, he was coming straight from high school, so we really didn't know what he was. But you should have to see. It's tough to project some of these kids when you haven't seen them. And in Luka's case, man, he was he was playing over in Europe, and that's a higher level of competition, but it also makes you more shut off from people's assessments. That's why so many players, or not players, but really personnel and draft experts and all of that, unless you did a deep dive specifically into Luka and the European players, you didn't know necessarily what you had. By the way, guys, let me know if I'm lagging. If I'm still lagging, then I'll probably bail out on the Facebook stream in this case, because I think it was working fine when I was just doing YouTube. So let me know. LeBron was 78, I think, says Marcos. In 2003? I feel like that's higher than he was. I don't know. I think a 79 for Luka is a little generous, given we haven't seen him against NBA talent. But I don't know. I honestly would have rated Dennis Smith somewhere between 79 and 81. So maybe that's about on par. I think they're probably, in terms of overall rating, I'd say they're probably fairly close, fairly comparable. Sugar Daddy, Dennis Smith Jr., Luka, Barnes, DJ. Can't be Dirk or Wes Matthews because he is not a power forward. Can't have 3 guards. Here is the thing, Sugar Daddy. Here's your lineup as I see it. Your 1, of course, Dennis Smith Jr. Your 2, Wesley Matthews. Your 3, the forward, Luka Doncic. Your 4, Harrison Barnes. Your 5, DeAndre Jordan. No lag. Perfect. All right. So, if that's the case, then if that's what you're looking at to me, if you're the starting lineup for the Mavericks. Dirk, I think it's his final year. He's going to come off the bench because I think at this point the lineup we have around him designates it as a necessity. And he's offered for the last 2 years that he'll come off the bench if he needs to come off the bench. I think that time's finally come. So, Dirk off the bench. Barnes will still be your 4. I think Barnes is better suited for the 3, but they love Wes Matthews. They're going to put him on the other team's best offensive player every single time, and that puts you in a situation where you're going to have that. And I think Luka is really more of a 2-3 hybrid. He's 6'9". He's not a shooting guard. He can play small forward, but he's a point forward at that point. So I think Luka will be just fine running out of the 3. Now, at the 3, they'll probably have him guard the opposing team, I should say. Guard the opposing team's 2, their shooting guard, because good God, some of the small forwards in this league, LeBron, Durant, Paul George, you run through this just long list of crazy good small forwards, and I don't like the idea of Luka Doncic versus any of them. Because if Luka has weakness in his game, and he does, frankly, everyone does, his weakness is he's not an especially athletic player. He's got very good vision and awareness, and he can make plays, but he's like crafty in how he makes some of these plays. And defensively, I would say his ability to keep up and keep his opponent in front of him is a challenge for him. And with the NBA, you're going against the best of the best, not just with regard to athleticism, but quickness and strength and everything. So there's going to be an adjustment period for Luka there. Will Luka average a triple-double, says Eddie the Hooper. Average a triple-double? No. Dude, there's been one dude. I think this is more satire of a question, but there's been one dude in the modern era to average a triple-double. His name's Russell Westbrook. Now, you had Oscar Robertson before him, but it's Russell Westbrook, and he's done it the last 2 years. I would even argue once Luka reaches his peak prime, he's still not going to be doing that. But I could see Luka giving you something like 14 to 15 points, somewhere between 13 and 15 points. Probably 6.5 assists and 5 or 6 boards as a rookie. Now, that might not blow you away, but for a rookie year, that's pretty solid. And he can have a bigger impact. I mean, if you want to know about having a bigger impact beyond the stat line necessarily, look no further than a guy like Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd never really filled up the stat line. Now, in his prime, yeah, he could have crazy assist number games. But I'm talking about like towards the end of his run in Dallas. His fingerprints were all over the games he would play, but his stat line was never anything that you looked at and was just like, holy crap, Jason Kidd dominated. So it could be something like that. I think a stat line like that would be quite a strong rookie season for Luka Doncic. Abraham Young, do you think Luka can reach Klay Thompson level? Klay Thompson level feels really high bar. I think he's a better passer and has better vision than Klay Thompson, but Klay Thompson's a better defender and a much better shooter. Luka Doncic last year from 3 shot about 30 to 31%. He can hit clutch threes, but his percentage overall is not that strong. And now the NBA three-point line is further back than the international line. So it's going to be a challenge for him, and it's going to be an adjustment. I think his biggest impact will be as a playmaker, in which he gets his teammates more involved, and then he makes more crafty kind of plays as far as how he scores. I actually think Dallas is absolute, and when I say pipe dream vision, that's probably the best way to put it. It's if everything in the world broke right for the Mavericks, Klay Thompson, for some reason after this year, decides he doesn't want to stay with Golden State. He wants to go be the man somewhere. And Dallas is able, with all that freaking cap money, which will be somewhere between $70 and $87 million, goes and money whips him and gets him in Dallas. And suddenly you're looking at a lineup of Dennis Smith Jr., Klay Thompson, Luka Doncic, Harrison Barnes. And, I mean, it won't be DeAndre Jordan at that point. Probably. I don't know what the center will be, so they'll figure that out. But if you got Klay Thompson and the rest of those guys, you probably got a fairly good chance of figuring it out and still being a really good team. Andre, I feel like the season will either make us a free agent destination or cement us as not. Being if you see a rookie in Luka and a sophomore with Dennis Smith make the playoffs in the West, it'll be a player. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, excuse me while I get some of this graphic here. I'm going to try and get the chat back up and running for us. I think that it'll be a big season for Dallas, and exactly for the reason you said. If Dennis Smith Jr. shows continued growth and Luka Doncic proves he is that guy that they believe he can be when they took him at 3, if he shows he can be that guy and you mix him with everything else they got going on, Dallas is going to be a damn good team. And they'll be a force in free agency. I really think that. I think that the only thing, for whatever reason, Dirk's style of play, I think this is ridiculous, but Dirk's style of play, for whatever reason, never drew free agents. And it seems silly to me because, yeah, it's not a sexy or flashy style of play. He's not powerful dunks and jaw-dropping athleticism, but his game is so finely tuned and he's such a good shooter that he draws the defense into him. He's a black hole in the best way. That's why guys like Jason Terry and Monte Ellis were so effective in Dallas. Because you run a pick and roll with Dirk, the defense has to slide over to Dirk, and that leaves them open, in Terry's case, for a curl jumper, or in Monte Ellis' case, a straight line to the rim. It let them play to their strengths without compromising everything Dirk brings to the table. So I don't know why Dirk never was a bigger free agent draw, but if it really needed that freak athlete and the excitement factor, then dude, if you're looking at a situation now where you have Doncic, Dennis Smith, and at least for this year, DeAndre Jordan and the lob threat he brings, holy crap, does Dallas look like a much more exciting place to play. Whatcha? Oh, yeah. There's chat. Cool. I got the thumbnail behind me. That wasn't really intentional. Let's see. There we go. Swipe it again. Fade. Aha, yeah. All right, so now we're back to a more classic chat look here. So is the new camera working, guys? Am I less laggy? My green screen overall looks better. I move my hands and I don't see the green as badly between them. Let me make sure I'm not missing any questions, cha. If you could have one, what would you rather have? A Mavs... Wait. Let me read this question again just to make sure I've got this right. If you could only have one, would you rather have the Mavs 2011 chip with no 90s Super Bowls or the other way around? Ooh, dude, you're asking me a 3-to-1 ratio. Oh, God. I think the 3-to-1's got to outweigh, man. I am a basketball first guy, and my Mavs are that's my jam. But I am also a big Cowboys fan, and you're telling me not just 3 titles, but a dynasty. That's the price I pay as far as the Mavericks are concerned. But then it denies Dirk his title. That breaks my heart, but I think I still lean Cowboys in that. I think because you're talking a dynasty. Now, if you told me the last Cowboys Super Bowl for the 2011 championship, I'm like, here, take it. But all 3 in the 90s, that's a high price, man. Paul H. Hasn't the coach said Dirk will start as long as he's there? I'm fine with coach has shortened Dirk's minutes every... Yeah... I don't know what the latest is. Maybe Carlisle has come out since and said that Dirk's the starter. I don't know what the lineup is if that's the case. Like, what do you run? Is Wes Matthews coming off the bench then? Because you're obviously starting Luka. You're obviously starting Dennis Smith. You're obviously starting DeAndre Jordan. And you got to start Harrison Barnes. So are you running Wes Matthews off the bench and Luka's your 2 and Dirk is your 4? I mean, that's your only option. And if we're talking 5 years ago even, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll run that. But today, this day and age, 40-year-old Dirk in year 21, I got to think that Dirk's going to be the 6th man for the Mavericks. Marcos Levy, Luka will guard the worst of the wing players in the opposite team. Yeah, he will. They're gonna find ways to hide him as best as possible because, frankly, you have to. You know, Dennis Smith, he's not a great defender. I think he could become a good defender, but he's not a great defender by any means. But that said, he does have very quick hands and can generate steals. Luka might be able to do that in a crafty way, but I don't think Luka's strength is going to be defensively, and so I think Dallas is going to have to figure out some things as far as how to hide and disguise him as necessary. Let's see, probably the bastard person, probably the worst ceiling for Luka is Ricky Rubio. Yeah, man, I don't like that ceiling, even in the hypothetical sense. Ricky Rubio, he's done some things. He's made some great plays. But that's not a guy you take 3rd overall, I feel, and let alone trade up for like Dallas did, where you trade a future first-round pick. I think a better comp would be Manu Ginobili. Now, don't get me wrong. Manu came up in the perfect system, and he's a Hall of Famer, an all-time great 6th man. But he came up in the perfect system with the perfect coach where he got to be the 3rd option, and he never outgrew that role, nor did he want to. OKC tried to have the same thing with Harden, but Harden wanted to outgrow that role. And even offering a starting job to Harden didn't matter. He wanted to go be the top dog somewhere. And clearly he deserved to. He had every right to. And he's proved he can do that. So, no disrespect to Harden on that. But Manu fit perfectly with the Spurs. If he had gone elsewhere, he still would have been a great. But I don't think he would have been a 3-time champion and a just, modern era 6-man, best example of a 6-man you could think of really in the modern era as far as longevity. William Payne, how will Luka's numbers compare with Simmons or Tatum? Ah, man, that's a very high bar. It's a very high bar to be setting. Luka will be in the running for Rookie of the Year. I think he'll be. I mean, Dennis Smith was in the discussion for a little while until Ben Simmons and Donovan Mitchell just sprinted away with it. But I do think Luka will be one of the top 3 Rookie of the Year candidates. And I think, again, his stat line will probably look somewhere from 13 to 15 points, probably 6.5 assists, maybe 6.5 boards and like 5.5 assists, something in that neighborhood. He's 6'9", so maybe he's more likely to get another rebound than he is the extra assist a game, but something in that neighborhood, 16, 6.5, and 5. And that would be a very productive rookie year. It really would. As long as he's making plays and he's drawing attention, getting his guys good looks, being creative with the ball, that's an improvement. And there's nothing wrong with that. So as far as comparing to Simmons or Tatum, Simmons has been in the league. This will be his 3rd year. Tatum's his 2nd year, but he was red hot last year, especially towards the end. Those guys are going to be a little bit ahead of him. But if you're comparing their rookie years, from a scoring perspective, they're ahead of him. As far as being in the Rookie of the Year discussion, he'll be on that level. Marcos Levy, I do think Luka will have between 3 to 5 triple-doubles. 3 to 5 would be an excellent rookie year. I don't have any doubt that he can register 1 or 2, but 3 to 5 feels high, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. I will gladly be wrong in this, and I will credit you absolutely if he hits that number or even surpasses it. But I think we're probably looking at 1, 2. I could see 3, somewhere in the neighborhood of 2 or 3. Sounds more doable to me because there are going to be some games where he's just racking up assists, and being 6'9", he'll be able to get some boards as well. And points, that's not the primary aspect of his game, but I think he can definitely make do with that. Marcos Levy, Luka's ceiling is a bigger Nash in my opinion. He doesn't have the shooting ability of Nash. Obviously, he can always improve in that area. He's got the vision. A guy on the Mavericks who grew up kind of idolizing Steve Nash, though, is, coincidentally, Jalen Brunson, the 2nd-round pick and backup point guard. I think that Brunson will bring a lot to the table as well. I don't know about the Nash comp. I mean, with regard to vision, sure, but I don't know. I'll be curious to see because even Nash did some stuff that took quite a bit of athleticism for some of the stuff. And from Luka, I love the vision I see, but maybe it's just that Luka moves pretty smooth, and so it doesn't give the same frenetic sense where sometimes you know how you can see 2 guys sprint and they might be the same speed, but one dude's just pumping his arms and just veins popping and looks like he's about to, have a heart attack, whereas the other dude's just kind of gliding. And again, they're the same speed, but one looks like he's exerting himself way more. Maybe it's kind of like that, where Nash looked a little more frenetic at times, and Luka's got a little bit more smooth through his game. I think Nash was a little more creative from what I've seen so far, but again, there's plenty of time for Luka to develop. The kid's 19. Like, he's going to be good. He'll be, 20 maybe around the time of this season starting, so yeah, I'm not worried about Luka. If he's anything like Nash, we are very, very fortunate. Colton Saling, sorry. With Luka at the 3 and Barnes at the 4, who do you project will be getting backup minutes at the 3? Reserve small forward. I think Harrison Barnes will split sometime there. Now, that's not a clear answer, I know. But I do think, because it's not like you go 5 in, 5 out. You shift your lineup accordingly. I do see a scenario where someone could come off and, let's say Luka comes off for some reason, whether it's foul trouble, whatever. Barnes slides over to 3. Dirk checks in at 4. DeAndre stays at 5, obviously. Something like that could definitely happen. Kleber's not a 3, though. I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe they go small ball. They probably, in that case, go 2-guard lineup, and you're probably looking at something like Dennis Smith at the 1, and then either Devin Harris at the 2. My hair is getting a little too much in my face. Either Devin Harris then at the 2, Luka at the 3, things like that. I'll have to take a deep dive at the depth chart for that, but I think that they're going to work around that. The 3 is not an especially deep position for them because it's not like they're going to put in Kostas yet. Way too raw. Bastard person. Yeah, I don't understand why big-time free agents don't want to play in Dallas. It is a little bit of a mystery. It's just that it is a little bit of a mystery. It's just that it never... Again, I don't think Dirk's style of play really gelled with what they were trying to... Or with what was SportsCenter friendly. And I think that there was, to some degree, a bias against that, maybe. So... I don't know. I'm getting a little pressed on time, guys. This might be a shorter stream. I'm going to take like 5 quick questions, then I got to go, and I'm working through the list. But, tell you what, I'll make it up to you tomorrow with another live stream, another live with DDP where we can talk anything. Oh, and by the way, I looked here. You're here now. By the way, guys, the channel did finally get monetized by YouTube. We got approved for monetization. So now, if you want to help support the channel, we have the lovely super chat down here as well. If you want to give anything, $1, 50 cents, whatever, that's an option. And anything that we get goes right back into the site, the channel. This new camera, for instance, was something I used or something I was able to purchase because of some support we've gotten from some followers. So, and hey, I'm pretty sure I got this notification thing set up that even if you do donate, you'll get a nice little ping there on the thing. I motion over here because this is where my second monitor is, where my program is open, and I would see it. You would still see it there. But yeah, so that's a thing out there if you wanna help make my day. Let's see. OJ Mayo. Yeah, OJ Mayo, man. Oof, I missed the bus on OJ Mayo. OJ Mayo didn't work out with Dirk because I don't think he had the right work ethic. He started out very hot in Dallas. I remember he had like a 40-point game at Houston, and I was like, this is it. This is the next face of the franchise. This is it. And I horribly regretted that because by the end of the season, we're like, oh my God, get this dude away from the team. He's so bad. He didn't have the right work ethic. He seemed lackadaisical at times. He didn't get along with Rick, and Rick demands a lot of his players, and he wasn't able or willing or whatever to deal with it. So that's why he flamed out. Luka is hardened with LeBron's mentality. Interesting. I would be very interested with that. I don't think he's Harden. I don't. Harden is just a natural scorer. Maybe about as effortless a scorer as we've seen in the modern era. KD is another effortless scorer, but I don't know about the Harden part. The LeBron mentality also interests me, though, because LeBron does like to get his teammates involved, and he does have great vision as well. So I like that for sure. If he can grow into a Harden, that would be phenomenal. I would be all over that. Do you try doing this on Twitch? Twitch is best streaming right now, to be honest. Probably more profitable, in my opinion, says Bastard Person. As a matter of fact, we are on Twitch right now. Like, right now, we are on Twitch. Cross-posted. We, the Prospect, are on YouTube, Facebook. Right now, we're just on the Dallas Prospect Facebook, but usually we're also on Phantom, Law Nation, Silver and Blue, Big Game James. All those are Facebook. We're on the Dallas Prospect Twitter via Periscope, and we are on Twitch, Dallas Prospect Twitch. So 8 platforms at any given stream. That's how accessible I'm trying to be. But yes, thanks for that recommendation. Absolutely. I did recently create it. I don't know who watches it there, but it's there, and I stream to it. It's got a catalog of videos, so that's something. Cam Hicks, do you think Luka will be labeled as a soft Euro player coming out of the gate like Dirk? I think there are going to be those who say that. I don't think that's as prevalent a voice as it used to be, but it will be out there, sure. That's something, it's a stereotype, right? And stereotypes die hard. Dirk had to fight through it. Dirk didn't really get all the way through it until 2011, but he got through it. And I think Luka will have to face something similar in that regard. But I think he can do it. It's just early on, it's going to be some time. Brokoff has not officially been signed yet, I don't think, Marcos. But that will be done, and this drives my co-host Innie insane. But I'm telling you, I think Ryan Brokoff might be a rich man's Doug McDermott, who Innie loves. So keep an eye on that. I think he's Doug McDermott in terms of his shooting, and I think he's a better defender. Just saying. I'll let you know, though, when he gets signed. Will DeAndre stay in Dallas? Will DeAndre stay in Dallas if we can make the playoffs? DeAndre will stay in Dallas if Dallas pays him stupid money like they just did. There was no market for DeAndre making that money anywhere but Dallas. So it's not like it was like putting the past behind us. It was like, you're willing to pay me $23 million for 1 year? Damn it, I'm signing. That's it. You won me over. I think DeAndre could be a good fit here. 1 year deal for $23 million I was skeptical about, especially when I saw what the market for centers really was, but we'll have to see how that works out. Maybe there's a future beyond this year, but who knows what the deal has to be for this following off season if that's the case. Almost to the bottom of the thing here. Lucas Comp's more like Danilo Gallinari and Manu in my opinion, says Baskademics. I think that's a good comparison. Gallinari and Manu. I think that's a very good comparison there. Yes, I agree. Luka is from 28th of February. Oh, birthday? Yeah, February 28th. I remember because I saw a piece and his parents didn't want him to be born on the 29th. Right, on a leap year. Yeah. Okay. Ramiro, what's up? Will the Mavs ever go back to the glory days of 2011? 2011, I mean, if you're talking about just in terms of competing for a title, I think they will. I do. It's just tough because once Dirk was past the title years, Dallas handled the next few years after that when Dirk was still Dirk, at least to 80% of Dirk or whatever capacity. They handled it very poorly trying to build through an unwise method, and I think that it cost them. If they had just embraced the draft, they could have still gotten a good year or two with Dirk there and a ready hitting stride star. Instead, they kept swinging for the fences and striking out. So I think they'll get there, but that 2011 team was a bunch of hungry veterans that had never won a title who would not take no for an answer once they got to the stage, and that was awesome. All right, last question I got time for. Last comment, I should say. Roscoe Dash. Harden didn't look like a generational player he is now back when he was a rookie. No, he did not. That's a great point. As a rookie, Harden looked very ho-hum. Second year, you saw flashes, but you still didn't think much. It was that third year when he broke out, and I think that was the year that they lost to the Mavericks. Yes, that was the year his third year was the year they lost to the Mavericks in the Western Conference Finals in 5. And then the next year, he was a monster. He was Sixth Man of the Year. They swept the Mavericks in the first round. And then OKC went to the finals, and he melted down in the finals. I'm not bitter. Luka will be similar to Brandon Roy minus injuries. Crafty scorer, playmaker, rebounder. Also a pretty good comparison. I could see that. I think Brandon Roy had maybe a little more athleticism to his game, but we'll see. But anyway, that's all the time I got for this brief stream, guys. Again, I will do another one tomorrow to kind of make it up to you for doing a short one tonight. I've only been going about 40 minutes, but I will do another one tomorrow, and I'm going to treat it as another live with DDP. So any questions, Mavericks, NBA, NFL, Cowboys, WWE, college football, I don't care. Hit me with it. I will answer to the best of my ability if I can speak to it. Until next time, guys, like us on Facebook, Twitter, apparently Twitch. If you really want to support us, hit up Super Chat or PayPal or Patreon. We're growing this thing, man. We're making some headway now, and I'm excited. I got a lot of cool stuff coming down the pike. Till next time, remember, every legend was once a prospect.